Alright, welcome back, my cheesy minions, and we have a big matchup here in the yellow division. That being my Miami Dolphiones against the Kentucky Typhlosions, coached by MrChabry. Now, I'm going in this match at 4-1. He is coming in at 3-2. But my one was actually against this guy. If you recall, in week 2, Kentucky Typhlosions took me out. He has a super scary team with that Palkia, who is actually the last person to be undefeated in this league, starting 3-1. Everyone else started 2-1 or worse. Just one of those years where parity's really high. But then he ended up losing 2 straight. First against, I believe, Skep Gandy, and then he ended up dropping to Coolimus 23's St. Louis Fletchinders, who is currently leading our division right now. Well, technically he's leading because he already played this week and he won. But he also only has 1 loss, so I will be able to actually take the division lead if I win here against MrChabry. That's not going to be an easy task, however, because he is looking to win this game to not only stay on pace with the division. If he wins, we will be tied in the division. I don't know with how the tiebreaker should shake out, because technically we'll have split at that point. I did have to see. Not that it really matters at this point in the season. But basically, he needs this win in order to keep up. Plus, after a 3-0 start, he really wants to try to avoid falling down to 500, especially the way our division is currently, with obviously Quilliams only having 1 loss, me only having 1 loss in that scenario. Well, obviously the other division mate is Sack Attack San Diego San Diego Wild Chargers, but they're not really a threat. But yeah, the wild card is going to be really tight in this conference because we have some really good teams also sitting at 3 wins and 4 wins from the other division in our conference. So this is a game that MrChabry just needs to win. And so do I, because, yeah, I'd really like to obviously stay on pace against Quilliams 23, and win here would be huge to push him down, and, yeah, will basically allow the rematch against Quilliams to, in part, determine the division. So we really do want this win. So I did make a transaction this week. It's actually kind of more of a financial transaction. Well, not really. I'll tell you my reasoning. So I dropped Swellow for Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl became available when the Montreal Tryhard Landorus new owner, Nukers, decided to get rid of Mega Aerodactyl, and that was the week prior. And I was really thinking hard because I was sitting in zero cap room. There was a couple other weeks I'm looking at, like maybe I want to make a transaction. I did actually want to try to make a relevant transaction this week, although Aerodactyl is still going to actually be brought along. But yeah, so Aerodactyl does a few things for me. It gets rid of, well, it gives me another normal resistance, which I kind of wanted. I don't really have many of those. In fact, I didn't have really any of those except Celesteela and technically Spiritomb, who's immune. But what this really does, first of all, it gives me cap room. I did want to play around a little bit with my PUs. There's like, I haven't brought Spiritomb or Altara yet. I don't know if I'm actually going to fit them onto a team, so being able to move those to another PU, which I might need to do against certain opponents, gives me a little flexibility there. But the other thing it does, it gives me another Stealth Rocker. Now, one of the problems with transacting Jirachi earlier is that it made Crocodile my only Stealth Rocker. And I still, of course, needed Defogger, so that's the reason I was holding on to Swellow. Aerodactyl, while still a flying type, which still makes me kind of weak to Ice and Electric. What this does do is allows me to, combine a Stealth Rocker into a Defogger. He's also faster than Swellow at 130 base speed as compared to, I believe, 122, so I get a little bit of extra speed there. There's a drawback that, unfortunately, Aerodactyl really can't be special. He does have a decent special move pool, actually, but it does not have a very good special attack set at all. So it's going to be locked into basically being physical, but I can do a lot with it. I can do a lot with it as a lead, potentially, and I can also bring like a Choice Band Aerodactyl that can do some work. So that's a thing. So yeah, that's why I made that transaction. Like I said, he is actually going to come this week. So let me remind you what MrChabry's team is. And like I said earlier, it's pretty much that Palkia that highlights the bunch. I mean, he does have a lot of other scary things. Now, you might recall from the first matchup, I feel like I played pretty poorly in that matchup, especially early on. I gave up a lot of advantage early on. I was really afraid of that Dodrio. Maybe he'll bring it this time. I don't know. But my game plan is actually going to remain somewhat the same. I looked at the team I brought last time, and I'm thinking, a lot of this stuff could still work if I just played it better. But obviously, last time I brought Swellow and Jirachi, those guys are no longer with the team. So it will be Celesteela coming this week. Now, I've been trying to run the Autonomized set more recently, but I don't think it'll be wise in this matchup because Celesteela, no matter bringing a physical or a special set, is really going to have a hard time getting around that Palkia and Steelix core. So I'm just going to go with a bulkier Celesteela, hopefully enough speed to outspeed the Marowak, because I'm going to be running Earthquake. I am going to be running Heavy Slam and Flamethrower, as well as Leech Seeds, and a special defense set, which will hopefully allow me to live at least one Thunder/Thunderbolt from the Palkia to at least do something to it. Even though I won't be able to do that much because it's that bulky. I mean, this really doesn't have a great matchup this week. I was tempted to bring, like, Crocodile instead, but Crocodile has a really meh matchup. Aside from that Marowak, that's, like, the one reason I was tempted to bring it. But unfortunately, it just kind of gets wrecked by that Palkia and the what is that? Florges. It would be nice, though, to get Intimidate on Arbok. Maybe I should bring it. But no, I did decide on Roserade over it, basically because, well, I kind of need the resistances that Roserade offers. I kind of need a special attacker. Without Roserade, that Palkia can pretty much just Thunder / Hydro Pump with pretty much impunity against me, so I have to kind of bring it. But the one thing to remember, last time he did bring the Scarf Palkia, so I'm going to go ahead and bring, once again, Assault Vest, Roserade, and I still haven't decided which berry I want on my Araquanid. I either want the Wakan berry, the, what's the rock resist? It's like, Charty, I think. And I was also considering maybe, just going with the, flying resist berry, which I don't remember. Koba, I think. Koba berry. But I haven't really decided yet, so yeah, that's what I'm, thinking here pre-game. So I'm gonna go ahead and, gen the team, finalize the team, and play the match, and hopefully everything will work okay, because I really need this win! Come on! Don't want to be swept by the Chabry, although Chabry always seems to have my number in these draft leagues. As you might recall, he beat me in the PGBL as well. In fact, I don't think I've actually scored a victory against him yet in draft league format. So, yeah, this will be the first if I can pull it off. So, yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, guys, here's the match. I need a win. Let's hope that it works out for me. So, interesting, he's bringing Luxray under Bombi, two Pokemon we did not see the first go-around. Not bringing the Machamp or the Marowak he brought from the first encounter. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects it. Still no Dodrio, which is interesting to me, because Dodrio kind of, slices through half my draft. But anyway, I decided to lead with the Aerodactyl. I should have led with the Passimian, which was kind of my game plan going in there. But then I'm like, okay, probably not going to lead Luxray. It'd be nice to get Stealth Rock right off the bat, but no, this Luxray, I didn't think he'd lead with it, but he does. So that's kind of sad. So I'm just going to go into my Roserade now. Pretty much is my only switch-in, which is kind of annoying because I really wanted to keep this Roserade healthy to take like a hit from something, but yeah, unfortunately it does not, and I'm just going to go for a Hidden Power Ground now, as he ends up going into Florges, which is an interesting switch, considering it's weak to Poison, but it's going to go for the Sludge Bomb. I mean, obviously Florges has amazing special defense, but I should be able to deal decent damage to it with my Stab, and I am modest, actually, too. And as you can see, I do more than half to the thing, so it ends up doing some really nice damage. But yeah, it's also going to heal some leftovers, and he does go for the Wish, which means he's going to try to probably pass into something. And I decide, you know what, let's just go for the Giga Drain and get some HP back. He ends up going into Palkia, which, here it is. His god. I go for the Giga Drain, like I said, I do get some HP back. After some quick counts, I know that I can live a Spatial Rend thanks to my Assault Vest, so even if he does have that Flamethrower, I still take that. And I'm down to 21 HP, but I do get a Dazzling Gleam off, which should do over half to this Palkia, unless it's really bulky. But it does do over half, so there you go. I do want to preserve my Roserade because it does outspeed some of his Pokemon. It might be useful, so I go into my Araquanid, and I actually brought Mirror Coat on this guy, and I'm like, okay, if he's gonna stay in and go for the Thunderbolt, even if it's Z, okay, Z Spatial Rend, that's fine, I can take that. I should be able to take that, because I do have Special Defense Investment. Gonna go for the Mirror Coat, play of the year, to kill this goddamn freaking Palkia. One foul sweep, let's go get it. Oh. It does kill me. And no, it was not Z Draco Meteor either. It was Z Spatial Rend, which we count at that range had a 6.3% chance to kill me. 6.3! Okay, I'm a little salty, but we can recover. We lost a Araquanid, that means no sticky webs, that means no, blasting out into the sky with, Mirror Coat. That would be nice, but we still have Megazard, who, if I can set up, will do good things. So, end up making a misplay here, going for a Continental Crush. I was kind of hoping he would not go to Steels. I knew there was a possibility. I really should have just probably set up Stealth Rocks, because, just be good all around move. But no, I do decide to go for the Continental Crush, predicting either the one of his fairies to come in, because the Floor Jazz is already weakened. Unfortunately, it does diddly to that Steelix, who just kind of laughs at it. I think his X4 resists, so it does absolutely nothing. And there's the Stealth Rocks, and that's going to hurt because I still have MC Charizard to get in, and I've not Mega Evolved it yet, so it is X4 weak to those sort of things. So I'm going to need to eventually get back into my Aerodactyl, who shouldn't have much of a problem getting off a Defog, since it's so fast. But it's something I need to do before going to Charizard, unfortunately. So he goes for the Earthquake, takes down my Roserade, even after the Giga Drain. I was actually kind of surprised, but no, that's kind of a normal hit there. Because, you know, Stab Earthquake's always going to be powerful. But yeah, I'm just going to go to my Celesteela now. I pretty much have to go into it. I'm just going to go for the Leech Seed on the switch. He ends up going to Luxray, which isn't great, actually, because this thing is probably going to outspeed me. I don't really have the investment this week. Like I said, I just kind of brought a bulky set. Still has his Air Balloon, too. So I can't even go for an Earthquake against this thing. I know that he can't kill me with a Wild Charge since I am bulky, but at the same time, I don't really want to take that damage from Celesteela, because Celesteela can kind of wall a lot of his team. It can take a hit from Palkia, even a Flamethrower, so that's kind of nice. And it can also obviously completely wall his fairies, which is nice. So just going to go into my Passimian. It's not damage I wanted to take on Passimian, but I know I can take it. Plus, the blow is a little bit lessened by that Leech Seed recovery, so it's going to pull Passimian back to around half. And here I'm trying to predict a freaking Fairy-type Pokemon, and he gets me again. He goes into Steelix. I was going for the Gunk Shot, trying to be pro, trying to hit that Ribombee or the Floor Jazz on the Switch, thinking that he's going to think either U-turn or maybe Close Combat. But no, the Steelix, and that's really bad. And he ends up making it worse by going for the Roar, and finally, a little bit of RNG goes my way, going into Passimian instead of Charizard or Aerodactyl, which would be, like, worst-case scenario. But Passimian at least allows me to go for the close combat against this thing. It should do a little over half, probably won't kill at this range, definitely won't kill. But does really nice damage, because Passimian does have an amazing attack stat, and is stabbed and super effective and all that, and he's going to go for the Heavy Slam, and I am at -1 defense. I do live it, thankfully, thanks to Passimian's passable physical bulk. Which will allow me to go for another close combat. I was afraid that he might try to go into a Fairy now, figuring I'm Scarf, but no, he just stays in and lets me kill the Steelix, which is perfectly fine, because this thing is bulky AF, and I just want to, get rid of it. So down it goes, and in comes the Ribombee, and he probably knows I'm locked into close combat, and I pretty much have to, because I kind of want to keep Passimian, because with a Scarf, it can actually do a lot of really great damage to the rest of his team. So I'm just going to go to my Celesteela, and he ends up revealing the Tailwind, so that's not great. And, yeah, so the Tailwind is going to be a pain in my rear, because he can basically go into Luxray. I end up going for a Leech Seed here. I probably should have tried to... Well, I really don't think I had a move. I don't think Flamethrower would kill from this range, so I probably made the right play going for the Leech Seed, because it'll wither it down, and then maybe I can kill it with a Flamethrower. And this is rough, because I know that there's, 2 more turns now of Tailwind, so... I have to sack something. If I go into my Passimian and try to sack it, I pretty much have to go into another Pokemon, and it'll kill either Aerodactyl or cripple Celesteela. So I end up saying, you know what, Celesteela, I know I can take a Wild Charge. I can limit the damage to this Tailwind just by getting rid of, letting Celesteela go down, which ends up don't even need to do that. Well, I do have to let something go down, because I am able to kill it with Flamethrower, but he still has one more turn of Tailwind, so... he ends up using it to get in on his Absol, which we haven't seen quite yet. And this is obviously going to be Mega Absol, and I still have to think about whether I want to sack something. I end up staying in with Celesteela and letting Celesteela go down, because at its current HP, it might be able... I don't even know if it could take a Moonblast from one of his fairies, to be honest. Maybe it could have, because it's just Celesteela, but it wouldn't take it away. Plus, if he has a secondary move to hit it, it's whatever. So anyway, yeah, Aerodactyl's going to come in, and this thing has one job to do right now, and that's Defog. Now, obviously, it does have Magic Bounce, but Magic Bounce does not prevent Defog, because Defog does affect both sides of the field. He ends up going for the Sucker Punch, so he was maybe not predicting Defog. Not entirely sure, but yeah, just going to let him go for the Defog. That's fine with me. Going to go for Stone, miss, and there's the miss. This is where it would have been nice to still have my Rocky MZ. Oh well, he ends up going for the knockoff too, so he wasn't even predicting it. Now he's going to sucker, so that really sucks, because it could have really done some major damage to that Absol. Wouldn't have killed it, probably, unless I critted, but yeah, still damage I left on the table there. So here it is. I need a reverse sweep with the Charizard X, and I need it now. Charizard X, can you make it happen? I need one Dragon Dance to outspeed his field. That's the first and most important thing. I need that one Dragon Dance. I know his Palkia is not Palkia is not Scarf this week, so I know after one I should be able to outspeed. Unless it's like a Scarf or Bombi, I should be able to outspeed that as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Roost, and I'm thinking, okay, do I want to go for the second DD? He's just going for the knockoff. It's not doing half. But then I'm like, you know what? Roost is a pretty good play too, because if he gets forced to switch out and then I have full HP, I should be able to sweep. But I'm, thinking maybe should I go for the second DD? And I'm not. And he goes into Floor Jazz, which is fine, because now I have the full HP Mega Charizard X against Floor Jazz, and this thing at this range will definitely get destroyed by a Flare Blitz. No need to calc, don't need to worry. Floor Jazz is an annoyingly bulky Pokemon, but this thing will be taken out. But the real test now is Ribombee, and I don't think it's Scarf, because I can't imagine Tailwind plus Scarf, although it could be. But what if this thing is sashed? I gotta hope not. So I'm just gonna go for the Flare Blitz, hopefully take the Ribombee out, and it's sashed, which is not good at all. Because now he can go for the Tailwind, and if he gets Palkia in, I straight up lose. But I'm like, if this guy is Moonblast, he could take out my Charizard. He ends up going for the Stun Spore, and it misses, and then I kill this thing. But, yeah, I should have probably tried to stall turns instead, figuring if he did have Moonblast, it would be over anyway. Because now he can go into Palkia, and he has 2 more turns of Tailwind to use at his disposal. And unfortunately, my Passimian, if he just had just 1 more turn, he could kill this Charizard, and I could maybe, just maybe, go into my Passimian for the win. But unfortunately, that is not the case, my friends. And we will drop to nothing to MrChabry. So good game there. Man, I feel like I could have really had it at the end there if I just had some chip damage on that Ribombee. But that's not the way the cookie crumbled. So, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of little things I look back on, like, if I only did that differently, if I only did this differently, I feel like I played a pretty good game, so did he. So it was definitely one for the ages, but what really changed the game, and, I don't want to sound salty, but I am totally salty. 6.3%. 6.3%! Jesus! I could have magic coded that thing off of, the plane of existence. Intense match. Intense match. I feel like my prep was good. I feel like my opponent's prep was good. It just, the dice did not go in my favor this match. And unfortunately, this is going to be a rough match. Because we have we dropped to 3rd place in the division, first of all, because we don't have the tiebreakers, MrChabry. We're both sitting now at 4-2. But that sitting at 1st place, 5-1 in the division, is Quilliams23. Now, his one loss of the season was against me. But we have the rematch next week, and that is a huge, huge match in the wake of this loss. Because if I win that match, we are back in the division race. If I lose that match, we're in some serious trouble. So we're going to have to find a way to win. We're going to have to find a way to defeat that Garchomp he transacted for. So yeah, it should be a really, really interesting match. I'm going to have to heavily consider transactions I can make that will put me in a favorable position for that match. Because with the sweep by MrChabry against me this season, it's in my hopes of winning the division. And mind you, if losing against Quilliams next week is also going to really put a damper on my wild card dreams too, because that'll drop me down to 4-3, which will put me in like this pit of wild card hopefuls. So hopefully we can turn it around. I feel pretty confident about how I played this week. I still feel like we have a good, solid team. But yeah, it's going to be rough. So today's question of the day is going to be, which Mega Evolution are you going to miss most going to Sword and Shield? Obviously, all Mega Evolutions are no longer going to be in the main series Pokemon game. I believe it's been confirmed. Being replaced by Gigantamaxing or whatever. But a question of the day on those Gigantamax things at a later time. Today's question of the day is, which Mega Evolution are you going to miss most? There's plenty of really cool ones. Mega Aerodactyl's probably always been my favorite design-wise. But I'm going to miss a lot of them, like Mega Charizard. Both of the Mega Charizards are really, really good and cool. If I have a hard time just putting down one, Mega Deontay maybe. Although Deontay probably is not even going to be in the game either. So, yeah, leave a comment about that and see you guys again next time. Laters!